Hello, and welcome
Hello, everyone.
to another episode of the Structured Gibberish podcast. I'm Brian, that's Pat,
I'm Pat.
and today we're going to talk about
Stuff.
all the stuff, all the good, all the best stuff.
All the best stuff.
We're going to kick it off today by talking about Pat's new sticker addiction, or staddiction.
Staddiction. Yes. Yeah, that's a terrible way of putting it. I love it though.
Sure.
I always have
Thanks,
had
I love it.
a staddiction. But now I'm more dangerous because I have a cricket. And I can play with them in my own home. So this is some past stickers. This is things I've made. This is the Walking Dead sticker. It's looking pretty good there. You know, thought it's blood. And this is of course Skelepony.
Yep.
This is my most popular design of all time. Everybody likes the Skelepony for the most part. There's a lot of bronies out there and a lot of people who like Skeletor, and some overlap. So there you go. And actually, I made this because my daughter liked both Masters of the Universe and My Little Pony, and so I thought it would be fun. But now, I don't know if you've heard, Brian. I don't know if you know.
I haven't heard of this. What are we talking about?
How could you know? Yeah. Superman just had his birthday.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
And the 45th anniversary of the Christopher Reeve movie, the first one.
Really? Has it been that long?
I guess so. And so, I wanted to do something special for it. Our friend Jim called me up and was like, dude, we should go see the movie. So we went and saw the movie. It was a special screening. So I made this for our further enjoyment. This is my Christopher Reeve styled Superman art.
And you drew this.
I drew this.
Yep.
Computer drawn. And then I put it on my very favorite sticker paper, which is that 90s Pizza Hut machine. Video stores had them, stuff like that. It's got the
holographic,
the ice holographic crackle to it. And then I'm teaching myself how to use our Cricut a little bit better. And so the Cricut cut this out. Now you can tell this was not perfect. I used the wrong process. The very short explanation is there's a specific process that you can use called print then cut, in which you print the sticker sheet out through the Cricut program, and it puts like a box around it. And so the Cricut machine can more easily calibrate and figure out. But the problem I don't really like about that is that it takes up a good amount of space. It forces you to waste a lot of sticker paper. I was trying to find ways around that, and I found out that there's a thing. And Brian, I don't know if you know, because I know you've helped people with Cricuts. So maybe you know about this, but it's a neat thing. It's called a snap mat.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't actually know much about the Cricuts at all, other than I have installed the software.
Fair enough. Well, so there's a thing, and it only works through iOS, so it works on your iPhones and your iPads. And you basically, you have the mat. There's a mat that feeds into the machine. What you can do is you can just put whatever the hell you want on there, and then use your phone to take a scan of it. Now, this is very difficult. I don't know why. But I had to stand over the mat. I put the mat on the floor. I tried it all over the place, different on the floor, on the table, on, balancing on a thing, because I don't understand why. But like, you hold your device. I was using the iPad at first, and I thought, the iPad camera, because mine's an older iPad, the camera's not great on it. And I was like, that's why. So I switched to the phone, and the phone camera is great. Still, same problem. You have to like line it up perfectly for it to accept and like it's got like little leveling balls. They have to get just right, and the mat has to be like perfectly within the square. And it literally took a good 15-20 minutes to scan each one. And so now I'm at the point where I feel like it's probably worth the extra paper to just do the scan cut, and not have to deal with that. And that's what it's also. So what happens is it sees your image, and then you can take your cut file and just place it. But I placed this one a little off, and so you can kind of see Superman is not quite in the center of his. And this is one of the better ones that came off of that run. So
I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't pointed it out, though.
Well, I'm a perfectionist. That's what happens. They haunt me, honestly. I've got a little stack here of them, and I'm just giving these away because they're shit. But I will say this. I was very excited. I was very happy because, I've been doing stickers and pins and stuff for a couple of years now. And my stickers are usually met with, a like and little more. Mm-hmm. But with these, I had more people than ever before specifically be like, how can I get some of these? I will pay you money for these. So I'm going to do a nice run of them once I get the machine calibrated right, so you're not going to end up with these goofy miscuts, and put them up for sale. They will, a couple bucks, maybe, whatever. Maybe I'll make a little pack. But in any case, I am very excited about this. This kind of reinvigorated some ideas for me. I made this as well. See, no, I was
other side. There you go.
There, can you see it?
Up and away. Yeah, your camera does not know how to color correct for this shirt, but yeah.
That's true. This actually, it's a really nice color. You can't tell. You can't tell but the shirt itself is a very nice color. So I made that shirt today. I don't know if I'm going to do a run of shirts. I don't think so. I think the shirts are going to be just a one-off. This one is for our friend Jim because he bought the tickets to go see the movie and wouldn't let me pay him for them, so he gets a shirt. But yeah, I'm looking forward to my next project now. I've kind of an idea that I want to do portraits with either famous sayings from the character, or I think it's going to evolve into movie quotes. I'm thinking about doing a Batman one. Where he says
his famous line, "I'm Batman."
I mean, that's an option, but I'm going to try and go a little deeper with them. I think
I'm not the Penguin.
I'm not the Penguin. But just fun stuff like that. I think that it would be a nice series to do. It would keep me creatively happy, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have a direction. So, and this one it came out super nice, and I've been getting a lot of really great feedback. So makes me, and I don't know what it is. There is nothing better. It's nothing more satisfying to me creatively than seeing a bunch of the same image that I created over and over again. When I made the trading cards for our comic shop, Stand Up Comics, you should have been there.
Go time travel to the past and visit it now.
Yeah, you should do it. Getting those trading cards was one of the biggest highs of my life. Just to spread them all out. We had 1,000 trading cards. I still have probably 500 of them. And we were giving them away. But yeah, I just spreading them all out and just seeing the same thing that at the time, I'm not very proud of it anymore. Unfortunately, there's a lot of flaws, but at the time I was just beaming. It was like giving birth to a child. I was like, look at my creation. It made this. I'm a god of trading cards. And it fills me with joy, and especially if you get people who also enjoy it and let you know. Which, again, if as speaking as an artist, you don't have to buy my stuff. You don't even have to really like my stuff. but it means the world to me. If you do like it, you just give me that little nod, like the that's awesome, that's really cool, whatever. You know what I mean? If you see something that you like out there, especially in the world now with AI art and all this other bullshit that people are getting away with. I've been pissed at art forever because it's been around since well before I've been around.
Art has been around a long time, I think.
Yeah. But the like the movements of like I fucking took a crayon and stuck it in my asshole and scribbled it on some paper, and you gotta love it because I did that, and I say it's
that's your artistic expression,
right? Absolutely,
right? Yeah,
excretion. And it's
look,
it's
everybody is free to call anything that they did art, and I am free.
And I think that
disagree.
Is terrible, right? But to be honest, I still give that way more credit than most modern artists they're not modern as in like today, like the period of modern art, where you have people who like fucking create sculptures, and by create sculptures I mean they say, wouldn't it be cool if there was a sculpture of a balloon animal dog? And that's all. And then they say that somebody should make that for me, and I'm going to put my name on it. Because they didn't do it. They didn't make the sculpture.
The commission.
They just had the idea to do it. And they are the ones who are famous for it. Anyway, most art is bullshit. So do what makes you happy. If sticking a crayon up your ass and wiggling it on a canvas makes you happy, then that's exactly what you should do. I don't have to like it. I don't have to. Well, it did, but I love it. I love turns like this. It's my favorite. But anyway, I might stick a crayon in my butt later.
Well then, what's the next topic? Are you done with your sticker? Do you have more sticker talk?
No, I think I'm done. I will gladly share more stickers as they come to me. I'm thinking about buying the little cardboard pieces like you would get out of a sticker machine, and that's how I'll ship them to people so they can have the full experience. Make them pay in quarter.
All right. Next thing on my list is Billy Bob Bockali. Bockali?
Bockali? I don't know.
Bockali. I don't know. Tell me about this thing that you got that's weird.
It's not that weird.
It's kind of weird.
So for all of you who are probably got at least in your late 30s, you might remember a little place that's near and dear to my heart called Showbiz Pizza.
Formerly called Showbiz Pizza.
Formerly called Showbiz Pizza. And at Showbiz Pizza, the center of Showbiz Pizza was an animatronic rock group known as the Rockafire Explode. Which
was a great name for a band.
It was a fucking fantastic name for a band. I will get that tattooed on my body one day.
That's taking it too far.
Probably. There is a wonderful visionary man named, it's on here somewhere, Justin Ishmael, I believe.
Justin Rockafire Explosion.
Ishmael, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, he makes toys, and he makes them at the level of actually getting them produced. He's not like making resin copies or anything. But he's not quite like a McFarlane or anything. So he's like a really cool mid-grade. He just came out with recently the official Scott Pilgrim comic book action figures, which are beautiful. I don't have any there, but they're very good. But anyway, to the point here, he made this vinyl figure, which is different than a regular action figure in that it costs more money. And has much less articulation and all sorts of things. And this is not a commentary on this particular figure, but vinyl figures in general. I will say I like the box art. I think the box art is weird and fun. You get these illustrations of Billy Bob, and there's one of many members of the band, not the whole band, not in fact my favorite member of the band, which was Duke LaRue, the dog from outer space who played the drums.
Mm-hmm.
But it's time. We're gonna open it.
Okay.
The hope here is, and this was from some postings from Justin there, is that if this one sells well, he will continue on, and hopefully make the whole band. So here he is in the packaging. He's got some plastic.
What do you think of the choice of starting with this one as opposed to any of the other ones?
I think this was the right one to start with. He was like the leader. He was the one who was always in the front. I could have also seen if they did Fats. Do you remember Fats? He was the gorilla who wore.
I don't know that. I don't know any of their names. Okay, yeah.
And so he also would. I assume if they get to more of them, Fats will probably be next. But like I said, Duke was my favorite. I got the Duke LaRue action doll roughly every time I went. Because it was just one of those things where I would lose it or it would break in between visits, and I would just be like, well, I gotta go. So to this, I do have one still. I have an original one. He was very hard to come by, and he's still not complete. He had this bizarre fabric on his arms and legs that like it just like it's still, the shirt that he's wearing is still made of it, and it's just like coming apart. It's frayed everywhere, and so his arm and leg bands are no longer there. But here he is. Here is.
Let me give you the screen here. Hold on.
Billy Bob
Broccoli.
Billy Bob Broccoli. I will say, let's see if I can get it to focus hard here.
It's kind of creepy looking.
My wife and daughter loathe this. I was specifically requested to not display this in the common areas. I'll tell you that this is the smaller version. He came out with a larger version. I want to say this is drop his guitar. This is a 7-inch, roughly 7-inch figure. I want to say there was a 12-inch, and that one either came with an extra head or his face was removable. I can't remember, and the mechanics were shown underneath. I really would have liked that one, but it was very expensive. This one retails for $100. It was on sale when I got it, so that was really the only reason I ended up jumping on. Not that I don't think it's not worth it. It's just it's a lot to spend on a Showbiz Pizza character. So if this is the only one that comes out, which could well be, I'm happy enough with it. I really do hope, though, they get into some more of them. I will. Now that I bought this one, I'm pretty much stuck. I'm just gonna have to sell blood or something. But like I said, it's a great little figure. It is, like I said, it's a vinyl figure, which basically
he's pretty solid looking at it.
He is solid. He has virtually no articulation. He has this movement where you can slightly tilt his head from side to side, and his arms open slightly and adjust slightly, mostly just so you can really lock that guitar or banjo, perhaps, I'm not really sure what that is technically, in his hands. So the paint is very interesting. Like again, I don't know if you can kind of from the back you can see it a little
better.
You
can see like the two-tone. Well, you could when it was focused.
It's almost like a like they put a lot of wet paint in there. It's not dry brushing. I can't think of what the process is called. It's something like wet paint, and I'm having a brain fart, and I can't remember what it's called.
Like the wash kind of thing.
A wash. Thank you. Yes, it's a very dark brown wash on some light brown vinyl, I think. You can really see, like, if you look at it, that's kind of cool. I never saw that. I never noticed that before. On his foot, I don't think this is going to show up. But you can...
something. Oh, yeah. It says the Rockafire explosion.
And the ISH is his company logo. So, like I said, it's as good of a figure as I could have ever asked for from the former Showbiz Pizza company. If you have any love for Showbiz Pizza or the Rockafire explosion, there's at least one. I think there's two documentaries out there that you should absolutely see. One I think focuses more on the full business of Showbiz Pizza, and one focuses more on the Rockafire explosion. And there's a lot of crazy shit that went into the whole reason that these guys are not a household name like Chuck E. Cheese is anymore. Mm-hmm. So there was a time. There, you know what bothers me, if I'm being honest. I don't like to pick at things, because I really do like this figure. But the paint job here, if you look at where the suspenders meet there, they painted it as though the suspenders weren't on top. Like the lines from the go over the suspenders. And it's the same on the back.
How do you mess that up?
I don't know. That's again, this guy is much smaller time than most of these places, so it could have easily been a miscommunication with the factory, and then he got them all and was just like, well, I have them. So at any rate, I'm very happy to have supported this project. I would gladly continue to support it if it continues. So here, I see you can, again, pressing that vinyl thing, you can see that the back of the banjo is open and hollow, much like a dog toy would be. Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't squeak.
No. It has the same kind of wash on it, Mm-hmm. So and it fits in his hand, and he's ready to sing you some tunes. I don't know if they're still doing it, but for a long time there was a private citizen who purchased one of the last complete sets from the factory.
I think we talked about that a while ago.
Probably.
A while ago.
I want to say it's in one of the two documentaries I was talking about. And he programs them to sing modern songs. You can pay him money to be like, oh, make them sing this song. And it's very cool. So check that out on YouTube. Again, just memories. Thank you for that memories. So
yeah,
Billy Bob will.
I haven't been to a Chuck E. Cheese in a long time, but that was back when it was Showbiz. That was my favorite kind of birthday party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you what. I was at a Chuck E. Cheese. My daughter loves Chuck E. Cheese, so pre-pandemic, we would go probably once a month. And my wife is a germaphobe, so she would never want to be there. So it was a nice getaway for just us. We ate horrifying pizza. We ate macaroni and cheese pizza once.
Yeah. We never ate the pizza there because I think my mom or dad got sick once, and they were just like, and this pizza tastes terrible anyway, so we're just going to go and have fun and play games and not eat the food there.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But they still had one single animatronic at the one in our area. It was just one. It was Chucky himself, and I think it was only from the waist up. And most of the show is like a video, and it had puppets and it's stuff like that. But and then every so often, depending upon if there were enough kids, I think, because if there was only like one kid running around, they were not going to bring the mouse out. But when there's enough kids, Chucky comes out and dances around, and I don't know. But it's fun. It's as close as you can get to an arcade for the most part anymore, unless you find a nice barcade.
Right.
You play some video games, win some tickets, take home 5 army men and a Tootsie Roll. And I tell you what, though, the nice thing about Chuck E. Cheese is that basically a ticket is a penny. And so if there's something on the wall for 500 tickets and you got 25, you pay them $4.75 on top of the 25 tickets and you get the thing.
That's a pretty good deal. So, I'm sure it's still overpriced, of course, but.
Oh, absolutely. But, that's it. The kid didn't have to leave disappointed. That was always the thing for me, especially because we didn't get to go very often. It was a very special occasion to get to go. So it was like you played your ass off to get the thing that you wanted. Often playing a game that you were not even enjoying, but just because you knew how to play it, so you would get tickets. And then you got your thing, and you went on your way. So.
Yep.
Speaking of being on our way.
Oh, is that the cue for that?
I can segue too. I can, but I don't know what we're talking about. So
I didn't know you could. I honestly didn't. Next up on the list, we're going to talk about the Power Rangers Once and Always special, the 30th anniversary special, which Pat has not seen yet. So I'm going to give my spoiler-free review.
I appreciate that.
And then we're going to take a quick break because I need to refill my water, in the sense that I never filled it the first time. And we started the show and I was just like, oh no, I'm running on empty.
I have a Mountain Dew from Taco Bell, so I'm running on full.
All I've got is this empty Gatorade, this tiny Gatorade thing that I was drinking earlier today. Anyway, Once and Always is the 30th anniversary Power Rangers special. And it's the first time that they've done like a standalone special. They've always done, they've done a special every 5 years since the 10th anniversary. And it's always just been like a special episode of whatever is the currently airing show. And it's always been, they've always made use of some existing footage or suits or something. I think the last one that they did, there weren't really any, they didn't use any Sentai footage, but they were they brought in the suits, and it was still part of that show, Ninja Steel.
Now, I have a quick question. Is this the first big thing that Netflix has done, or has Netflix pretty much had the reins for a little while now?
Netflix took over Power Rangers, took over kind of funding Power Rangers in the second season of Dino Fury.
Okay. Where's that fallen from? I don't know what you're talking about, because I don't know what you're talking about.
In other words, the most recent season of Power Rangers was the first one to be on Netflix exclusively. The first half, season 1 of Dino Fury, was a Nickelodeon show. Season 2 was a Netflix show, and that's where we're at right now. And then Cosmic Fury will be a Netflix show as well, which I think is 10 episodes. This show, though, is it is the first time that we're bringing back the original team, as much of them as they could get. And it's the first time that we're using no Sentai footage, no Sentai plot, no Sentai suits, none of that. Although I guess maybe sometimes you could, depending on how you want to look at Forever Red, they did pull out the Beetleborg suits for that one. I don't know. But either way, this one is the first time that it was not part of a show. It was just, and this one is I'll tell you, within the first 5 minutes, I was tearing up, because they handled the show really well. They took it seriously, and at the same time they kept the spirit of it.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I don't think this is spoilery because it's in the trailer, but Trini's actress died a long time ago, and so the Yellow Ranger dies. And her daughter is in the show, her daughter Min. And so Trini is gone. You see her die in the opening, and then it jumps ahead 1 year later, and then that's where the rest of the thing takes place. So they explain where Robo Rita came from. I am fine with the explanation. It makes sense to me. I didn't really find any like real plot holes. Before this came out, I saw a whole bunch of videos on YouTube that were like, here's all the plot holes we assume are going to be there based on the trailer. Like, here's all the things that they had better explain to us and everything. I was like, yeah, they explained it all. It's all explained. So,
I mean, for as well as a Power Rangers needs to explain anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like there's no point where I'm just like, how did they get there? You know, like there are questions because they brought people in, like Aisha is there, and the last time we saw Aisha, she had moved to Africa with her family, and it's like, and then the last time we saw, I don't remember. Oh, the last time we saw Billy, he was on Aquitar, and I just saw a bunch of people being like, well, how did they get back to the thing? I'm like, guys, it's been like 25 years,
right?
And they have spaceships. Like they can easily go from Africa to Los Angeles. It's within a 25-year span.
That is technology we have now in
exactly.
the real world.
This isn't a plot hole. And they're how did Aisha get from Africa in 1996 to a spaceship in 2023 is your plot hole? That's not a plot hole.
This is bullshit, garbage.
But no, it's fun. Like they make some great references. It's a show where it's a thing where it's like they make some references and you're like, if you're not a fan, you're probably just like, I know that was a reference to something. I don't know what, but there's a reference there. If you do know the references, they're just nice little nods to the fact that all of these, like the last 30 years, all takes place in the same universe.
Right.
You know, they foreshadow like the fact that Power Rangers SPD takes place 2 years from now. So they foreshadow like they're beginning to move in that direction more than just the fact that Adam and Aisha are part of Space Patrol Alpha, but you know, Space Patrol Delta is the other one. You know, like they name drop a couple of things from the show as like, oh, we've just made contact with these guys and stuff like that. There is some good setting up for the future, I hope. I don't know where they're going to go with this because it seems like they've set up Min as the Yellow Ranger, and it feels like we are preparing for like this is the next phase of Power Rangers. Like maybe we're going to go back to Mighty Morphin, but with the next generation of them.
That would be kind of cool.
At some point,
I would be almost interested in checking that out because honestly, without the Mighty Morphin connection, like you tell me about this stuff all the time and it sounds really cool, you know, but my heart's not in it. You know, I'm purely a Mighty Morphin guy. That's just where all of my interest lies. And so when you would be like, oh man, Tommy was on, I'd be like, okay, I got to check that out. You know, stuff like that. But
yeah,
I would be interested in Power Rangers the Next Generation.
It's possible that Cosmic Fury is going to like dovetail off of this. Mm-hmm. They make some references to things that Billy is up to that it's like, oh, like Cosmic Fury could be like the continuation of that story. Mm-hmm. You know, or it might not be. It might just be a completely separate thing. Because Cosmic Fury is supposed to be dealing with Lord Zed based on where Dino Fury ends. Like Lord Zed is back and they're going to go get him. But overall, I thought it was great. It was the special effects. I read the spoiler-free review at IGN before I watched it. Mm-hmm. And they were like, boy, they haven't upped the quality of the effects at all. They should have put more budget into the effects. And I'm like, I don't think you remember what the 1992 effects look like, because those look like hand-drawn animation, and the effects in this show look like actual CGI. Like, low-budget special effect technology has advanced quite a bit in the last 30 years, you know? And this movie, they do a much better job of the effects compared to 30 years ago. Like, it's not the MCU, but, you know, looks good.
Even at that, the MCU has had its failings.
Maybe,
you know what I mean? Especially in that department.
I take it back. Maybe this is the MCU.
Maybe it is the MCU.
I will say the Megazord fight, which is all CGI, I have very mixed feelings about it, and I feel like it's the only thing in this show that that I have misgivings about, because I feel like they did a fantastic job recreating the Zords. They, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but they recreate the entire Megazord, calling the Zords, where they come out of the ground and everything. The full Megazord they recreate the whole thing in CGI, and it looks awesome. And like the CGI, I think the way it's composited in, they do a very good job of making it look like it is there and less like it is CGI. Like the CGI has advanced quite a bit. It's still not perfect, but you know, they do a really good job with that. But then like the Megazord, the actual Megazord mode was like the legs were way too thick and the arms were like the shoulder pads were really small. Like the proportions of the Megazord were not great. And the animation especially was not great. It was like, it was almost like, I don't know, it's in the uncanny valley of like this thing in still frame looks very realistic, and in motion it looks very fake. You know, it's one of, and so doing it like that, and I recognize that like, you know, I saw a bunch of people saying like, hey, Toei still has the Megazord suit, the Daijujin suit, because they used it not too long ago in one of their Sentai specials. They probably still have it. We should have just borrowed it. And it's like, CGI is cheap. If they were going to do a Megazord fight, they would have had to build sets. They would have had to have an entirely different shooting unit. Like they would have had to, like, there's choreography and everything. Like, they saved a ton of money doing a CGI Megazord battle. Like, it feels the opposite of how it should have been, right? Like, it feels like, oh, we could have done it in practical effects to save money. But nowadays it's like the opposite. Right.
This is the trouble, because we grew up, I don't know if you remember, in the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I didn't grow up in the movie, but yeah.
No, but there was famously a CGI animated sheep that they didn't even use in the final cut that cost $10,000.
Yeah.
And that's what goes through my head still to this day. I think about stuff like this, like $10,000 for a CGI sheep that only went bah.
Yeah.
And that was it. And they didn't even use it. It's like, that's crazy to me. And so, of course, you know, if you have that floating around in the back of your head or something like that, you're obviously going to think, well, stick a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
It's going to look better than this. And it's going to, you know, but you're right. It's CGI is cheaper than that. People can probably put together the CGI that was in this movie on their iPad. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's the truth of it, is that we're at that point where it's very cost effective to do shitty CGI.
Yeah. So that's the only misgivings that I have. They recreated the interior of the Megazord cockpit and it looked fantastic. Like, it's more futuristic looking, like more modern looking set, but they recreated the interior and they did a really good job of like getting very specific details about it correctly while still updating the whole thing. The thing that I thought was interesting was the tone of it, which was that there was a lot of, it was definitely darker. There was a lot more like, well, I mean, there's obviously death. Robo Rita is brutal.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
yeah,
she killed Trini right out of the gate there, right?
Yeah, and Barbara Goodson does an amazing job. Like, she is there for that voice. Like, you know, like she showed up. Billy does, like, he just fell right back into the role. There's parts where he just like randomly starts spouting off like the nonsense technobabble thing, and I'm just like, that just rolled off the tongue, you know, like exactly the way Billy would do it. But still a lot of pathos to it. Like, there's a lot of emotion going on because of like the circumstances of Trini's death and everything. Walter Jones, who plays Zach, is absolutely phenomenal. He like just nails every scene, especially him and Min share a lot of screen time together, and he just did an amazing job. Rocky and Catherine are kind of like, they're okay. They're back. They're doing their thing. They were never super great actors to begin with, but they're doing fine. Rocky, what I particularly loved was when he was first brought on the show, he was like, I'm the Red Ranger, but I'm not the leader. And they didn't know how to write, because Tommy was the White Ranger at that point. They didn't really know how to write his character. And when they switched to Zeo, they started to write him as more of like a comedy, like a wisecracker.
Okay.
You know? And they kept that for this. And so his comedic timing, especially when he's like in the suit doing the voiceover, he had a lot of good like one-liners that were well delivered, because he's not the best actor, but he does. It felt, there were so many points where it just felt like you're just watching the old show again.
Right.
You know.
I gotta
and then people get stabbed with power weapons, and you're like, oh, that's never happened before.
Right.
So the monsters were great. The two monsters that they had, the Minotaur and the Snizzard, they had great voice actors for them. Richard Horowitz, who plays Alpha, is clearly struggling to keep up with the voice, but again, did a fantastic job. Had some great quips out of him as well.
I had no idea that's Invader Zim.
Yeah.
And it's the same voice.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I honestly don't understand how I never put those, because when I heard, like, the instant I heard it in the trailer, I was like, oh my God, that's Invader Zim. Did the Alpha guy like die and he had to take over? And I asked Brian's like, nope, that's just been him forever. I was like, well, shit.
Yeah. Well, he played Alpha 5 and Alpha. No, he just played Alpha 5, and now he played Alpha 8 and 9 in this movie. 8 and 9. We don't know what happened to the original Alpha 5. Like, he went back to Eltar with Zordon, and we never... Oh, no. He didn't. He was on the Astro Mega ship during Forever Red. And that's the last we saw of him. He was just in the background, and Richard Horowitz came back to say something like, we're all set, Tommy. He has one line, and you just see him in the background, and that's it. And that's the last we see of Alpha 5, because Alpha 6 is in... Turbo and In Space, and then Alpha 7 shows up in the 15-year anniversary, and then this movie has Alphas 8 and 9 in it. So
crazy.
Yeah, we don't know. The comics detail Alpha 4 at one point. He was like a battle droid. This show does continue on, like they continue on with the continuity that was started in the comics that they picked up on in the Ninja Steel crossover, where Catherine and Tommy are married and have a son named JJ, who you hear him calling out of Tommy's house during the last crossover. But you don't see him on screen at all. So anyway, a lot of good continuity. Overall, I felt satisfied by it. I felt like it was too short. You know, like it's like I wanted it to go on for like a full length movie. You know, like I just wanted to spend more time with these. It's 50 minutes.
That's short.
Yeah, it's like I just wanted to spend more time with the people. You know, it's like we got them all back. I just want to hang out in this world again for a little bit longer, and then after the end, that's when they hit you with the real feels. And I won't spoil it for you, Pat. But it's tribute time, basically, and I don't know. That's when I was all happy with the ending and everything, and then they hit you with it, and it just like I'm choking up a little bit right now just thinking about it. But
I tell you, of course they were going to do that. I mean, that's
the whole thing is a tribute to Trini,
right?
You know, but then they squeeze in their JDF tribute at the end. So.
Yeah, I figured, I figured they had to do something.
Yeah.
And obviously it was really poor timing for them to be able to do much of anything when it happened. So yeah, it was already completely done filming and everything, and you do hear like they used voice clips for Tommy, Kimberly, and Trini
And I think Jason at one point, although there's another point where Jason says something and it doesn't sound like him. So I don't know if they couldn't find a clip or if they weren't allowed to use Austin St. John's voice or something, but they were able to use the other Rangers' voices for a couple of things. Like you hear Tommy doing his Hayas and Sikfuyas and everything. Trini, I think, has an actual line that I won't spoil. And then the same thing with Kimberly. I think she calls out for Tommy at some point. But just the raw emotion in the first few minutes is really well done. And I kind of feel like there's a conversation between Billy and Zach early on that almost feels like they didn't need any like acting coaching for it because they're talking about Trini and the death of their friend. And it's almost like they're just kind of reliving it.
Right.
You know? So overall, I loved it. You know, I would have done personally, like in my head canon, I would have done things differently, but what I got was, I loved it.
That's usually how these things go. It's like, but as long as it was good enough, you were happy.
Yeah.
Moved. That sounds pretty darn good to me.
Yeah. And enough references to other things to just remind you that, yeah, this is a larger universe of things going on. And, yeah, no, really good. I recommend it.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. So once I do that, Brian and I will have a private conversation about it.
Yeah.
You guys don't need to see every conversation we have. Okay.
No, I'll tell you this though. I'll give you a spoiler because it's one of those things where if you're not a deep in the lore person, you won't, it's just a reference. Okay. I don't remember the name of the episode, but in season 3 or 2, I think it's season 2, they go on a talk show. The Rangers in suits go on a talk show to be interviewed, like a late night show. They get interviewed by the guy, Harvey Garvey.
I remember this. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like Late Night with Harvey Garvey or whatever it is. Harvey Garvey also voiced Ninjor in season 3. The guy that, not the actor who plays Harvey Garvey. Right. Anyway, at one point, you see his gravestone and it gets destroyed. So I don't know. I thought that was the weirdest reference to stick in there.
Yeah, that's pretty. But you know what? That was for you. I would never have remembered that was that guy's name. You know, it
was one of those things where it stays on the screen long enough for you to fully read it and process like that's a reference to something. You know, and if it wasn't such a goofy name, I probably wouldn't have remembered who it was. But you can't forget Harvey Garvey. Harvey
Garvey's a pretty darn good name. I like that.
So. All right. Hopefully you will watch this soon, and then you and I can have a chat about how awesome it is. Yeah. And how terrible that Megazord looked.
That sounds great to me, actually. I love talks like that.
Yeah. Yeah. CGI snizzard too, by the way. Because the whole fight is CGI. So
lame.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good quips. Good Ranger equips. Ranger equips. You know, the type of quips you get when you're a Power Ranger, you know.
Sure.
And you're fighting stuff.
Yeah. Like you do.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to go grab my water from wherever I left it. And then we're going to talk about what?
Stuff.
Action figures. We're going to talk about action figures. All right. We'll be right back after these messages. There's no messages. You know what I was just thinking is we should have a countdown to being back, so that it's not just like, I'm back, blah,
But I'm back. Back. Blah.
So we only have 2 topics left, and it is both Hasbro action figures, basically. But we're going to start with, hopefully I got the right browser set up here. We're going to start with this new, there we go, Mary Jane Watson and Green Goblin 2-pack from the Spider-Man animated series, which is pretty awesome. I love, first of all, I love this Mary Jane design. It's just so homely and everything. But the Green Goblin, because you get the alternate.
Homely?
You know what I mean. I'm trying to be nice. I love his head with the
the whole Goblin is perfect. I am so excited for this guy because you know what? I might not have been so enticed by this Goblin.
In case you're wondering, I got myself a cup of apple and pear sauce because I felt my blood sugar dropping. I'm not allowed to eat cookies anymore because they will kill me. So I'm eating this applesauce.
Well, good on you. Enjoy your apple and pear sauce.
Thank you.
You should get those little. We get those squish packs still.
Yeah, I don't
they're
like
for
those.
babies.
Yeah,
but they have ones that aren't. It's literally the same thing.
It is literally the same thing, but yeah, there are they're marketed to non-babies.
She likes them, so we always keep a box of them in the fridge because it's nice just to be like, you know what, you want something to eat? Go eat an applesauce.
We got a bunch of these because I had a tooth pulled a couple months ago, and they were like, okay, for like 4 days, only eat soft things: yogurt, ice cream, milkshakes. And they listed all this stuff, and I'm like, I literally cannot eat any of these things.
Right.
So for 4 days, I was eating applesauce and broth.
There are worse ways to live, man.
Yeah, but anyway, Green Goblin.
Yeah, what I was saying was, the last Goblin that came out, I missed him.
I miss him too,
and
man.
he had the Norman head, and I was very disappointed that I missed out on the Norman figurehead. So I'm very excited to get this. And this is, for all intents and purposes, that is Mary Jane to me. This is the Mary Jane we grew up with.
Yeah, cowboy boots.
Yep. Yellow sweater with
a
pink turtleneck underneath it. I'm not wild about the head.
No, I think the head looks great.
I mean, the head's fine, but I'm not wild about it. I might just put my comic Mary Jane head that came with the Gwen Stacy figure. I might just pop that on there. I'm okay with that. Okay. But yeah, this is great. I'm excited.
Let's look at the Green Goblin head.
Oh,
there.
It's so good. This figure just, I mean, I love Green Goblin. The color scheme, the green with the pink and the yellow, just, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll tell you what, the Green Goblin, this is my personal Green Goblin journey, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
I was never, as a kid, a fan of the Green Goblin because I was like, just hear me out. We're going to get there.
I'm with you.
The glider thing I thought was silly. And in a lot of instances, they would draw it in the comics like really small, actually like smaller than this, where I'm just like, that doesn't look like it should glide at all. And then the face and the mask and everything, and it always just seemed like way too cartoony, like kind of scary, like watching Gremlins, that was like a thing that was on my mind at the time. It was like, oh, Gremlins are scary. But also at the same time, so cartoony that it was not scary.
Okay.
But when you watch the Spider-Man animated series, like I watched that show and I was like, in my mind, there are 2 quintessential Spider-Man villains, Green Goblin and Venom, right? And it's like Green Goblin is the classic Spider-Man villain. He's the guy. And then Venom is like, at the time, it was like, this is the new Spider-Man main villain, right? It's like, it's the 90s.
Right.
He's the evil counterpart. Yeah, it's Spider-Man and Venom, right? But on the show, it took them forever to get to Green Goblin. Norman Osborn was on the show like from the beginning, and they did Hobgoblin first, and Hobgoblin was played by Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was a recurring villain for a very long time. And they did Venom before they did Green Goblin, I'm pretty sure. And so after a while, me, guy who's not a fan of Green Goblin at all, was like, when are they going to do the goddamn Green Goblin? They're taking too long. He's the Spider-Man villain. I need to see Green Goblin in this show as soon as possible. Call the producers, get me the Green Goblin on the phone right now. And so finally, when it looked like, you get to I think it was like you get to the end of like part 14 of whatever 28 part thing they were doing that year, Sins of the Father, whatever. And then it's like, oh, they're hinting at Green Goblin. He's definitely coming. And then finally you get Green Goblin. And Green Goblin in the cartoon was like, it was the Hobgoblin suit that was somehow mutated by the gas that made him go insane. It was a really weird origin. Like that, I didn't care for that at all. That didn't make sense at all. But when it finally happened, I had built it up so much in my head that I was like, finally, Green Goblin is my favorite villain of all time, and I finally get to see this guy. And then, like, not too much longer after that, we got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies with Green Goblin. It was like, okay, cool. I like Green Goblin now. I'm fine with him. He's not my favorite guy of all time, but I don't hate him. I think he's a fantastic villain. He's crazy enough to be unpredictable and goofy enough to want to know more about him.
Right.
And to figure out where he got his cornrows from. Exactly.
No, I've always loved the Green Goblin for his relationship to Peter. His almost fatherly relationship as Norman. And that played in the comic books too. And it just, I don't know. It was great. It was good writing. It was entertaining. It was Marvel. Marvel writing was always so good at making you say, like, oh no, not him. No, he's just going crazy. No.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. He's in a bad situation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they make you a little empathetic until they do something that you're just like, oh my God, they can't come back from that.
Yep. like in the Spider-Man movie when he like murders 4 people by blowing their skin off and then their skeletons fall to the ground and stuff. No one really talks about that.
He was feeling he was not mentally in the good place.
No, he was just trying to get back to formula.
Back to formula.
I'm kind of sad that I don't think we will ever get a proper MCU Green Goblin, because I feel like, I do like what they did with pulling in what's his face, Willem Dafoe, pulling his character from the Sam Raimi movies in and giving him the purple, kind of updated, like getting it a little bit closer.
Right.
I thought that was great, but that pretty much means we're not going to get a proper Green Goblin for our Peter.
Probably not for this iteration.
Yeah.
Give it 10 years. We'll be rebooted and we'll get Gobby again.
Mm. I would really have loved to have seen an actual uninfluenced by previous media MCU take on the Green Goblin.
Me too, because that's the beauty of the MCU is, especially at this juncture, they really have let loose and are just like, just do it like the comic books.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I don't care what it looks like. Yellow spandex, do it.
Yeah, we've come that far to the point where the Sony is not quite there, but Marvel is.
Marvel is, though. That's I guess that's probably the trouble with the Sony standalones. Although, to be honest with you, I've yet to watch a single one. Not watched Venom 1 or 2. Definitely didn't watch Morbius.
Yeah. It was not Morbin time for you.
It was not Morbin time for me. The draw of the possible Michael Keaton connection was not even enough to bring me in.
No. This is a true fact. I'm going to tell you a true fact. Hmm? If they had put the white spider symbol on Venom, I probably would have watched the movie like right away. Like I was literally
I'm
Like
not
that
gonna
was
lie to you.
a huge, like I looked at
yeah.
him like, that does not look right.
Right.
Like
No,
he looks naked.
It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't make sense right now though.
Doesn't have
Like
to.
I'm waiting. I know.
Have to.
But see, here's the thing. As long as it's leading somewhere, I give things their shadow of the doubt, benefit of the doubt, in that one day, for whatever reason, when they finally are able to have both characters in the movie and have them interact, Venom will somehow attach to Spider-Man. And when it gets back to Eddie, it's going to be like, no, we have the white spider on us now. And everybody will be like, yay! They did it! They finally did it!
Yeah, they did the thing.
They did the thing.
Knowing the way, because I actually do like the relationship between Eddie and Venom that they have built up in those movies where...
You love me.
Yeah,
you do.
Exactly. It's such a great take on them that I don't think I've seen anywhere else, and I don't even know if that's where when they set out to do those movies, if they were just like, this is going to become grumpy old men eventually.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I love it. I absolutely love it, and I guarantee you. Well, at least I would hope that when they eventually do get the thing, like if Spider-Man gets the symbiote and they do the white spider and then he gets it back, he's going to wear it to be making fun of Spider-Man.
Sure. I'm down with that.
I don't care why they do, but like that's what I want them to do. Like I want them to lean so hard into that, the relationship between the two of those characters, Eddie and Venom.
At this juncture, I don't even know where the Sony Spider-Man movies are going to go if it's not to Venom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what can top what they just did?
Venom is the only spider. It's the only thing in the Sony verse that's doing well. Right. Like the Venom movies did okay. Morbius did not.
Morbius tanked hard. And I mean, even the Venom movies, people didn't seem to care so much for the second one. Mm-hmm. I've heard that there were good things in it. Like I heard Woody Harrelson was very good.
I didn't see the second one.
I didn't see any of them, but I heard he was good. He played a good Carnage. Yeah. You know,
he's actually when I heard that casting for Cletus Cassidy, like I thought that was pretty good. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was fine casting. I honestly, I really don't even know what it is about the Venom movies. I mean, let's be honest. I remember a time that I would have devoured any of this media. You know, I don't know about you. I watched the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. I watched the 90s Justice League made for TV movie with glee.
The 1990 through 2009, roughly, that span of, well, especially like the 99 to 2009, that decade of Marvel movies were all terrible. In retrospect, compared to what we have now, but we ate them up like crazy. We went to every Ghost Rider. We went to every Fantastic Four, like on opening night at midnight. Yeah. You know, and we walked out of all of them being like, "Oh, well, that was the best.
Was the greatest.
That was the best we could have possibly hoped for." And it turns out, no, it wasn't. But at the time,
and again, we were brought up on, okay, you can have a superhero. But he's gotta be, if he's gonna be Thor, okay, he's just gonna have he's gonna accidentally have a bucket on his head for 30 seconds. His hammer is going to actually be a functional, tool hammer, and that's it. That's the whole thing. You know, for a split second, you might see a flashback where he was dressed like he's supposed to be dressed. But that's it.
10 years of Smallville ruined us made it feel like, look, better things are not possible. Right. Like this is the close. We're going to spend 10 years getting ever so close to one entire minute of on-screen Superman suit that is blurry. Yeah. And we're going to be like, this is the best thing we've ever seen.
That's all we got. That's all we got. I remember, honestly, though, I do remember being so disappointed at the end of Smallville.
We could do an entire episode on how disappointing Smallville turned out to be compared to the promise of it at the beginning.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, my God. I agree 1,000%. Well, I feel like you didn't stay on with it very long.
Oh no, I did.
Me and Jim and Chris.
I think I own it all on DVD.
Well, that's probably true. But me, because weren't you in college at that point?
I think I missed like a middle 3 seasons or something like that. I watched a couple seasons at the beginning. I missed a few, but I came back for like the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Of it.
Well, I'm just saying, me and Jim and Chris would get together every Wednesday, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we would watch it all together. It was, that was a given. We were watching Smallville as it aired.
We would watch it in college. I remember because I would point out things like that was a Superman reference, and then they would be like, it's a Superman show, everything's a Superman reference, and I would try to explain to them like, no, it's a reference, it's a specific reference to the comics and not a thing that's happening in the show. But they're just like, everything in the show is a Superman reference, he's Superman. I'm like, you guys are dumb.
You guys are dumb. We're my cool friends. And that's why Brian and I are friends to this
exactly, because we're the only ones who aren't dumb. It's just us.
Just us too. But yeah, Green Goblin. That's what we were talking about.
I was just about to take it off the screen because we weren't even talking about it anymore.
Right.
Okay, new topic. We're talking about how bad Smallville turned out to be.
Yeah.
The whole last season, or even possibly the last 2 seasons, because the last season, which was this? No, the 9th season was the one where he started wearing like all black. Wasn't it? And then,
well, because before that, he spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Smallville, Clark Kent would always wear Superman colors. Yeah. But in like Walmart wear.
Right.
It's like a blue T-shirt and a red flannel and blue jeans. And so much so that when he was saving people at the speed of Superman, they started calling him the Red Blue Blur. Yeah. It's like, that's the stupidest.
And then
again, like they were like, and this was like some like, heavy shit where they were like, no, this is no tights, no flights. And they were proud of it. Yeah. They were like, yeah, you're never going to see the tights and he's never going to fly because that's stupid.
Because that costs money.
Right. And it was just, it was an awful thing to do. just to be like, hey guys, you like Superman, right? Well, guess what? Fuck you. Like that's exactly what they said. They were like, we like Superman too, except for all the things that make him Superman. So in the 9th season, he dresses all in black and they just start calling him the Blur because he's not red and blue anymore. But then in season 10, they do a thing that I still struggle with as a like in-universe concept, which is that they show him the suit. Mm-hmm. And it's the suit from Superman Returns. They just borrowed it. Right. But they show him the suit in the Fortress of Solitude and it's locked away and they tell him, you're not ready yet. You can have the suit when you're ready. And like the season is like him getting ready, but like the suit doesn't grant him any powers. It's not like he has any emotional attachment to the suit. It's not like, it's not like a uniform, like you'll have joined the Justice League and we'll give you your uniform or something like that. They're just like, we have an outfit here and you don't deserve it yet. But one day when you deserve it, you can wear this skin tight outfit with the cape and the underwear on the outside. Like in universe, if I was Clark, the way he had kind of been the whole thing, he'd be like, he had just gotten done wearing a black Matrix trench coat for a year. To with
just be like,
you're right on it. It was
and to just be like, oh man, hopefully I can live up to someday, be worthy of wearing this ridiculous looking outfit. And I love the Superman outfit, but like in universe, like compared to that he just wears normal clothes and he's perfectly capable of fighting crime that way. It's like, I don't really need someone to make a costume for me and then tell me I'm not good enough for it. And then I can live up to the costume, which doesn't have any in-universe significance to me. It's literally just there for the fans to be like, I hope someday he can become Superman.
I personally think that it was a fuck you to the fans.
That's what I mean. Like, they're just like, it's coming, but not Exactly.
You don't deserve this. And it's like, you fuckers.
Yep. And then in the very last episode, you get such a small glimpse of him where like you do technically get a full body shot, but it's like, I think partially CGI and it's very blurry because he's flying around.
At least at the time they claimed that Tom Welling wouldn't wear the suit.
And I don't blame him.
He said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not, because, and I mean, again, to be fair, his notion was at that juncture, if he put on the suit, he was going to be typecast as Superman, and that was going to be it for him, you know. But he should have taken that, because I think what did he end up with? Nothing. An NCIS show or something. One of those.
And then he came
shows?
back to be Superman again. Right.
And then he shows up to be Superman again, and they're still toying with apparently an animated series follow-up. They've Michael Rosenbaum has talked about it a lot, and apparently most of the cast is on board, with the exception of Chloe, who of course turned out to be a sex cult leader.
That was a bit of a shock.
Yeah,
honestly.
it was. And I don't know, like there was so many things. The TV-ization of the Superman characters is such a kick in the nards for anybody who cares most of the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I will go on record as saying I really loved the Supergirl show. I think they did a fantastic job. But casting the tall, well-built, suave black man is Jimmy fucking Olsen.
Yeah, that's right.
It's such a slap in the face to that actor.
And honestly, like,
face to the character, like there was nothing right about that.
To me,
his character on the show was awesome.
Yeah. And I don't care that he's black. I don't care if Jimmy. No. I don't feel like he has to be white or black or whatever. But yeah, he should be nerdy and skinny.
He should be a little skinny, nerdy guy. And like he had almost once in a great while on the show, he would have a camera, just to be like, yeah, I'm Jimmy Olsen.
I mean, it's better than Zack Snyder's various takes on
shit. Yeah, it is. But
yeah, Jenny Olsen and then Jimmy Olsen being the CIA guy, the hidden CIA guy, which was, I still don't know what Zack Snyder is smoking, but it obviously costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it did. But yeah, like that's it's such a. Well, and have you watched any of Superman and Lois, the new show that's on?
No, I just got done with last year's Picard, so that's where I'm at here. Okay.
I have seen some of that show, and I think that Lois and Clark are really good. They do a really good job.
I liked Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, but I didn't get to watch it a lot because it was on at the same time as Sequest, and I liked that show better. Yeah. But I liked Lois and Clark. I liked that show a lot. That was a good show.
I will forever have a crush on Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. Yep.
Forever and ever.
Well, I'm glad the new show is good. I like the actor that plays Superman. Who plays Lois? I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I know her from is playing Lois.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
It's an interesting take. Like, it's obviously, I don't know. Do you know anything about the show?
He's from a planet called Krypton, if I recall.
All right. No, this show is like we met this Superman and Lois like well into Superman's career. They have teenage sons and have had to move back to Smallville because Ma Kent finally died. And it was either sell the farm. Finally. It was sell the farm or move from the hustle and bustling city to small town Smallville.
A Superman show that takes place in Smallville? Yeah, that'll never work.
Never. No. And I think that's wrong. I was going to say I thought that they used the same set as the farm, but they didn't.
They could have Bruce Wayne by the farm or by the bank that bought the farm, I think.
Right.
That's what it was.
But the show is interesting. It's good. Like the sons only find out that he's Superman like once they move to Smallville, and and then one of them gets powers, but the other one doesn't. And there's some animosity, of course, and then there's all these like he's getting his powers like now, like puberty style, like, oh no, I've got superpowers. So a lot of interesting stuff happens. And they keep it very interesting because like Lois has got to move from being hotshot Daily Planet reporter to lives in Smallville. You
Mhm.
know. So there's a lot of very interesting and entertaining
Sh-
plots to go around.
I'm pretty sure she commuted to Metropolis when on Smallville, the TV show
I believe
Smallville.
she did. Yeah, I believe she did. But that's a little. I can't remember. I think she might. I watched the first couple of episodes once, and I was like, man, this is a great show, and then I just never we followed up with it anymore.
Mm.
But it was something to the extent of I think she quits the planet and then it's just going to kind of try to be a stay-at-home mom. But that, of course, is Lois Lane. That does not work out for her. She gets deeply involved in all the business of the town and whatnot.
The business,
which is
gives them the business.
just it gives them the old business. I think that it's a really decent show. I'm going to start watching more of it, I think. See if it's kept up on the quality. I really love the actor though who's playing Superman. I don't know his name.
I don't either, but I like that guy.
He plays him the way I always wanted Superman to be played. He's very lighthearted. One of my favorite shticks is they do show like early in his, like they do some flashbacky stuff. And so when he first starts out, he is wearing like the Max Fleischer suit. You know, it's got the Fleischer S and it's just like it's beautiful, beautiful recreation. And again, like he's such a happy character. Like there's an instance where they recreate Action Comics #1. A car almost hits a kid. He catches it and is holding it in the air and everything.
Yeah.
And then as he sets it down, the kid's like hat had fallen off, and Superman comes over and hands him his hat. And I think maybe he says something like, "Oh, that's a cool hat." And the kid's like, "That's a really cool costume." And he's like, "Thanks, my mom made it," and then flies away. And it's just like, that's Superman to me. Like
Exactly.
that is Superman. And yeah, he gets it. Whatever he's doing, he gets it, and he's playing him to a T. And again, I'll never that. Did you watch that Flash crossover at all? So
no.
there was a remarkable Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover on the Flash series, and they tried to pay homage to like everything, and they did a great job. Like there was a sequence where basically all the universes were getting destroyed, and so you would get like a 10-second glimpse into, all of a sudden you saw Burt Ward walking Ace the Bat Hound. And he looks up at the sky, and it like when you knew that the universe was about to be destroyed when the sky turned red, and he looks up at the sky and says something like "Holy red sky," and then there was a sequence where there get to like dark and broody, Tim Burton Gotham, and Knox is sitting on a park bench reading a paper, and he looks up and the sky turns red and they're gone. And so they're trying to get to the different universes, and one of them, Brandon Roth, reprises. I'm sure you've seen the pictures.
Yes.
He's basically Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah.
And he did such a good job. It was a very big redemption thing. I think it was like I really got screwed with an honest to God bad script.
He was not the problem with Superman Returns.
No, not at all. He was because he does. I was watching. Like I said, I went to go see Superman the movie on the big screen, and two things I'll bring up about that movie real quick. But the main one that we're what we're talking about here is I noticed way more watching this how much Brandon Roth really does look like Christopher Reeve.
He really does, especially as Clark Kent.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I guarantee you, he studied those movies and like really tried to mimic the mannerisms and everything, especially as Clark Kent.
That was the thing that it blows me away every time I see it, but like it's different when you're watching a movie in the movie theater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you are forced to pay more attention to it or something. You know what I mean? You can't be playing on your phone or whatever.
No,
or
they tell you
to
not to right at the beginning. Yeah.
You're watching the movie. And it's that scene right after he takes Lois flying, which is my least favorite scene, because I don't know why she fucking makes up a poem.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And it rhymes, and she's asking if he can read her mind. And I don't know if he's listening and can read her mind, because his power's not well defined.
I hope not, because it'd be very embarrassing.
Yeah, because the rhyme schemes are awful. But, right after that, though, he like drops her off. Actually, it's a sandwich, because I love the interview too. The interview has the very famous line, "I like pink very much, Lois." Mm-hmm. Classic, love it. He is the perfect blend of, I obviously like this girl, so I'm going to be kind of cocky, and Superman. He's lovable Boy Scout. And he takes her flying, and did I freeze there for a second?
Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. Skype's doing its thing.
I froze on my screen anyway. So he takes her flying. Embarrassing mind reading happens, and then he drops her off, and then super flies around the front to be Clark Kent and try to take her out on a date after this. And she's gone off to go get ready for their date. And there's that moment where he's like fighting with himself almost. You can see like he's like Clark Kenty, and he's just like, oh dear. Mm. And she says something like, she's obviously completely dazed and out of it, and he knows that it's because he just took her out flying.
Right.
And he does this thing where he takes his glasses off to like clean them, and he's like very proud of himself and then he's just like, he looks at the glasses, and he does like this, and he straightens out, and you're just like, you son of a bitch. You really look like two different fucking people. It's uncanny how well he pulls off the nerdy Clark Kent body posture and mannerism to the instant Superman, and you just totally buy it. You totally buy it, 100%.
Yep.
And that's why he'll always be Superman. To me, that's nobody has done it better yet.
I think people very much underestimate how much just a pair of glasses, especially like glasses that are really thick, that change your, and then a change of mannerisms,
right.
If you're not paying close attention to people,
it's true. I mean,
I feel like if you're dating the person though, you would know, but
I was going to say, if you're Lois Lane, you should have figured
she's an
it
investigative reporter too, but in general,
in general, well, and in universe, in the comic books anyway, Superman at one point made reference to the fact that when he is Superman, he vibrates his face at a frequency that lightly blurs all of his all the definition, and so it would be hard for you to recall what he looked like, other than vague. And I was like, that is bullshit. But
I had a dog that would do that when he had to pee. It's not that hard.
And you were like, who are you? Whose dog?
Yeah, whose dog is this?
Whose dog is this? Get the fuck out of my house, dog.
Did he used to wear glasses?
Exactly.
Well, anyway, just splashed water all over my face. Long story short, Smallville was disappointing.
Very.
Okay. So. The final topic that we had listed, I got to look it up, was these remastered Lightning Collection Power Rangers. So I got two of them in the mail, the first two that they released. And I want to talk just briefly about them. First off, there's some of that paint stickage thing. Like they've got these new shoulder things, and one of them works really smooth. And the other one has like a paint thing where like it feels like you're going to tear the thing. But anyway, They've got the new pinless design in like the knees and everything, and the Billy sculpt is much better. And the glasses
I was going to say, yeah,
the glasses are now removable, so you can have no glasses Billy. I'm pretty sure he's not Superman. But he does, you could barely see it. It's like really well hidden, but there's grooves in the side of his hair
I
for
like
the glasses to hook into, which is really nice. They do not fall off. So yeah, these are more expensive than the originals. It's kind of sad that they're re-releasing these, but I like the pinless designs. You wanted to see the boots because the original girl Rangers, they used the male Ranger boots. They're still sticking out.
Still look too big.
They are, but they are smaller. They're not the same boots that Billy has.
Right.
They are smaller. They look more like she's wearing actual boots that are just a little bit bigger. But the thing that I was mentioning earlier was that like on her arms, from here on out is a separate, this is a white piece of plastic
like
with yellow painted on it.
Okay.
It doesn't slip over. It's like, this is like a little piece and then it's plugged into this piece, you know.
Oh, okay.
And you could, if they weren't so tight, I'm pretty sure you could twist it along here.
Right.
Like they're just two pieces of plastic that are like, I don't know, mushroom pegged together or something. I don't know. But Billy he just has his forearm and it's painted, like it's molded blue and then painted white. So like the blue parts are the unpainted parts and there's no, this whole thing is just one solid piece. It's a weird thing that makes it so that his gloves are just flush with his body, but hers looks like she's actually got her arms stuck in the thing. So her head sculpt is good. It looks,
it's not bad.
It's a little bit better than the first one. All these head sculpts are a little bit better. They come with a ton of accessories. They got the blade blasters in every single possible. He's got the one here. This is the one with the blade out, and there's a blaster formation it comes with. A bunch of different hands, including hands that can hold the very, very teeny tiny Morpher, which actually does have the Triceratops painted on it, and I'm going to drop it, I'm sure. So he comes with, I don't even know how you're supposed to do this, but he comes with hands that can hook. You can hook on the bottom of it, and then another hand to put on the top of it, and then he can hold it.
Now, the real question is are their arms going to be able to come together to do this?
Hers, yes, because her shoulder blades are unobstructed and can do all sorts of things. Whereas,
but his, maybe not right now.
His shoulder, although I think it goes forward all the way. No, it doesn't. Maybe. I think so, because he can do, let me pull this trident out. He could do, yeah, he could probably do it, because he can go like this. Yeah, he could probably do it somehow. So
yeah,
they have, where did I put the helmet? They've resculpted all the helmets too. So they're all slightly more accurate, especially the Red Ranger's one has all the paint on it that it's supposed to have. But yeah. So anyway, these two I am happy with. I'm hoping that this is the last time that I will be collecting the Mighty Morphin Rangers, because I now have the original releases, the various different re-releases where you get a different head. Like, so, you got Jason, then you got Jason in the 2-pack with the Gold Ranger, and then you got the one where he was Rocky. I think that was a release. And then you got you've got Trini, and you've got Trini you got Aisha, and then you got Trini in the 2-pack with, no, that was Aisha in the 2-pack with Scorpina. And then you got the one where she's switched powers with Jason, so she's the Red Ranger. And then you got Zach, and then you got Adam, and then you got yet a different Adam, like same body, different head, and different accessories.
Wasn't there a different Zach too?
Yes, there was. There was a different Zach.
Yeah, he had the dragon shield on and the better head.
Yeah,
I was really pissed about that because I didn't want the dragon shield one, but I wanted the better head. But I didn't buy it though.
Yeah, and then Kimberly and Catherine. There's a lot of different So anyway, I bought a lot of those, and then I bought all the metallic armor versions of all of them. And now I'm doing the remastered versions, and then hopefully I am done with Mighty Morphin Rangers.
I was gonna say I have a question, because this is the kind of thing that's been plaguing me for a little while now. What the fuck are you doing with all those? Is it just for posterity? Do you just want to be like, I'm comfortable knowing that somewhere in one of these boxes I have 6 different versions of the Red Ranger, or is there like in your head, one day you're going to set up like this
I have
amazing Mighty Morphin thing?
I have a Detolf in another room where I am displaying them, but there are too many. I'm overwhelmed by them, and it is very much like a. Hopefully someday we can put all these out, but yeah, I have 3D printed bases for them, like of my own design. Like I designed a base that has a foot peg and then a cone, so that you could have the civilian head, and then there's like a cone on the base where you can have their helmet on the stand next to them, which it looks very nice together. And that's what I've got them set up with. And they are, there's a lot of them. That's the thing. It is, I don't know. I will never have all of them on display.
Right.
Most of the time I open them and they go into a bin, and then some of them go onto the display. So usually once I get like a full team, then we start talking like, okay, we got to do something with these guys.
Right. I would much rather, I don't mind collecting more than one of the character. There are certain characters I try to collect all of, like Hal Jordan. I try to get every Hal Jordan figure that comes out. That's one of the things I like to do. Mm-hmm. Every Skeletor that comes out, I try to get every Skeletor. But yeah, especially when it comes to stuff like this, where I'm like, I really like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I want to have, for me, I just want to have like the ultimate example. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like every time I get one, it should be replacing another one. Yeah. If I have to buy it again, it's for some reason. Like if I do break down, I really hope I'm strong on this one, or they decide to give us the Dragon Shield, the motherfuckers.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I don't understand why they did this for the remastered edition. I could totally see them doing this as just any old regular wave release.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, in the same way that like if you remember when Imaginext first started, like the very first Green Ranger thing they put out had no shield, and it had the American silver on the helmet for some reason. In a remastered, which is supposed to be like the definitive versions, to say that Jason comes with the shield and Tommy doesn't is just really, that's dumb. Like
the toy looks wrong.
It doesn't affect me because I'm going to just move the shield over to Tommy.
Well, sure, but the problem with it is for people like me, who all I wanted in the set was a Tommy.
Yes.
The only amount of money they were ever going to get from me was buying a Tommy, and now they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is like I was very excited to have the morphing hands and to have like the extra fun accessories that come in there. It just really stinks that they fucked around and found out.
Yeah, I can only assume, because I feel like this is the higher grade. Like they've already put these characters out so many times that I assume they're thinking people are going to these are more expensive than the other ones. They come with every conceivable accessory. It's like people are only going to buy the entire set anyway, is what I assume they're thinking. But at the same time, it's like,
wrong, though.
I think you are correct. They've never done the Armored Red Ranger as a separate release in Lightning Collection. So to me, it makes sense. Like, hey, that was Jason for a while. Let me get to it.
Well, go ahead.
It makes sense that they would do Jason comes with a dragon shield, because that was a thing for a good stretch of the first season, was Jason could summon that, and that was part of his shtick. Tommy should also have come with it.
Right.
They should both come with it. That's where I was going.
Again, the fact that they made it removable is great.
Yeah.
Because then you could say, "Oh, Jason has it," or "Tommy has it," or "Zach has it." That's awesome. But there is no world outside of I see again like a great exclusive Comic-Con something 2-pack. Give me a 2-pack where you package Jason with the shield on and Tommy without it.
Yes.
Done.
That's actually where I assumed this type of thing would happen.
Right.
It
would have been fine.
Green Candle 2-pack.
Right. Especially because you could have, if you don't like it, you just buy that 1 pack and go whoop whoop, done. You're happy. But you see, now I am very unhappy, and I got to tell you, is that every single time, whenever Hasbro posts pictures of Tommy, I go to the comments section and I say, give us the damn shield. And it's usually like the 70th time it's said. But
Yes.
I want them to know that it's like, you guys are, this is a problem. Like, I assume that this was like, somebody was like, oh man, guys, everybody's going to want to buy the Green Ranger. You know, unfortunately, we this is the first Green Ranger figure we put out since Jason David Frank's passing. You know, people are going to buy this toy. What if we try to force them to also buy the red one?
Yeah. It's a weird, because I could totally see like the logical path you could start down and get there. But once you get there, then someone needs to take a step back and go, this is a dumb idea. Yeah, because they're looking at it and they're like,
again,
we got an armored Red Ranger. We screwed up the Green Ranger last time we released him by not painting the diamond underneath the shield. We want to make sure people see that diamond is there, that we corrected our mistake. Okay. It's like this whole line is like, hey, the morphers and the belts are all the correct color this time. We didn't screw up the colors. Hey, the helmets aren't improperly painted. The dragon shield supposedly is completely bright, shiny metallic gold instead of just molded orangey thing. It's like, we've corrected all the mistakes. We better throw a new one in there.
right,
Just so they don't start, we don't want to get
really
their
get 'em.
expectations up too high,
They can't go around walking around thinking that we're cool or anything.
Right.
No.
I mean, I give them props for trying, and I appreciate at the very least that the dragon shield is actually adjustable and will fit on the female characters as well.
Oh, that's cool.
There are two ways that the straps can connect, and so it can essentially shrink itself to fit on the female characters. I think the armbands though are still going to be too big to go on the girl arms because they're a little,
Probably.
because they seem like they're just exactly big enough to get onto the male arms. But anyway, I think it is a on the grand scheme of things, not the worst thing that they've done.
No,
And I think
I agree. It's something that I feel like it's poor timing.
yeah.
If this had happened before the passing, because I mean, there's so many, I can't count how many people, because I have a Green Ranger shirt that's similar to the one you're wearing there, I think.
You made me this shirt.
Yeah, it's very similar. And it's every time I wear it, like people who are a good deal younger than I am are like, "Oh, Green Ranger, man. God, I cried that day." I was like, "Me fucking too, man. This is terrible," And the amount of people that would have bought this figure out of nostalgia, out of love, out of just like, yes, a perfect example of the Green Ranger right now. I am there.
Yeah.
And you know what, the other thing is that it's hard. Like, I have the Figuarts Green Ranger that I was thinking about selling, because then I bought all the Lightning collection. Like I said, I just kind of want one of every character. And I'm like, it's time to move. And then he passes. Like, I can't sell it now. Not that I'm going to keep it forever, but it's like, I didn't want to be an opportunist.
Right.
I didn't want to be like, oh, buy this stuff. He passed away. So like, it boggles my mind, and it makes me sad, because again, I was very much looking forward to buying the figure, getting all the cool accessories, but now I'm just not going to do it. It's $30 is way too much. For
on the bright side, certainly, I can say this with 100% certainty, they will at some point release this exact same Tommy figure with the shield on it.
Right, I'm sure.
And I will probably buy it again. It will probably be, because there's no White Ranger remastered yet. There's going to be some like Hasbro Pulse Con exclusive White and Green Ranger 2-pack. And it will have, mark my words, you will have the Green Ranger with the Dragon Shield and all of his accessories, and then the White Ranger, and that's what it will be. Or
that could
even more, because they just announced the Turbo Red Ranger, and it's TJ, which is good, because the fans, they said they listened to the fans, and I have seen fans say nothing but too many Tommies, not enough TJs.
I don't know who TJ is, but
TJ
okay.
took over for Tommy. When Tommy left the show the first time, TJ took his place as the Red Ranger.
Okay.
Hey, everybody loves TJ. They've already released him as the Blue Space Ranger twice. We need him as the Red Turbo Ranger before Tommy, because we have too many Tommies. I have 9 Tommy figures. And they did. They listened. They put TJ out first. So I'm adding that exact same figure with Tommy head into my PulseCon theoretical box set, which will now have correct Green Ranger with shield and remastered White Ranger and non-remastered Turbo Red with Tommy head. And it will be the exact same Turbo Red with the exact same accessories, but now with a Tommy head. Because you have to give me another Tommy head, right? And I can't just buy a Tommy head.
Now,
that would be ridiculous.
Here's another thing that I actually I've heard a lot of people complaining about the likeness of Tommy in this new remastered figure.
Oh, let me take a look at that. Hold on.
I felt like it was, honestly, I feel like none of them are dead on for Tommy. Some of them, like they get really good with some of those heads, but I feel like maybe he's one of those likenesses that it's just hard to nail down.
I feel like the very first one that they put out. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, this one is not good. The Tommy that had the green headband on was pretty good. And I think the one that came with the very first Lightning Collection wave, the White Ranger one, was good. Let me put this up on the screen here, this browser. This is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, I mean, some people were calling for the notion that maybe they couldn't even use his likeness anymore. I really don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case. No, he's holding the Morpher wrong in this pose, though. By the way,
did this sell out already? This already came on pre-order and is gone already?
You got it. People want this figure, Pat.
Well, they win. Good job, everybody.
Yep. He's got more hands than Billy, and a candle.
This stupid fucking candle.
And a Blade Blaster, even though I don't... Oh, I guess he did. They did give him a Blade Blaster when they switched to American footage because they didn't know what they were doing. You know what I want them to do, Pat? This is the last thing they haven't done. I think I mentioned this like a year or so ago. They need to give me a Tommy figure that comes with asymmetrical, crappy-looking Dragon Shield. You know, like the very floppy, flexible, non-foam Dragon Shield from American footage. I need that.
I mean, maybe we could just make you one. Because I can make things that look like
you
crap.
can make that in the cricket.
Right.
Probably.
We can make this happen, buddy.
That's all I want.
If Hasbro won't help you, I will.
You know how many accurate Dragon Shields I have?
How many?
All of them.
Oh.
There's so many. I've got Dragon Shields with the pointy back. I've got Dragon Shields with the curvy back. I got all the different ones, but I don't have any of them where it looks like that diamond on the front is 2 seconds from just falling off, and the whole thing, the integrity of the whole thing is going to come apart. That's what I need in my collection.
We're going to make you one, and we're going to make it out of craft foam, and we're going to use like hot glue, and it's going to look like crap, and you're going to love it.
There's no shortage of Tommy heads. So if you don't like this one, just buy it.
Well, and I mean, here's the other thing.
Collect them all.
I've always found interesting about this. You know, I don't know why I would have the civilian heads on these bodies. I don't know why you would have the morphing. Like, why would they hold the morpher up if they're already morphed? You know, like, this is why we need civilian. We need a full civilian collection. That's where they could introduce Bulk and Skull. Mm-hmm. That's the 2-pack I really need.
We really do need that. That's number one on the list. He is in what I would call American footage colors, where the green was greener, whereas like the Japanese footage is more of a teal color, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think one of the figures is more I don't remember. There's so many different Tommies that they've come out with.
I mean, it's hard when you have clearly the most popular version.
But look how good that Dragon Shield looks, man. Just nice and shiny gold and everything. Man, it's going to be great to take that off of him and put it on the correct character. Look at that. Look at that. Does it show the back of it? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Interesting. Perhaps they're hiding something.
No. They showed the back during the stream because it's the way it clips in on the back. It can be adjusted. But I don't remember
style. Like.
Yeah, it is. Well, no, not like that. It's just that there's like two peg holes, essentially, so you can go like higher up to make it smaller or lower to make it bigger. I don't remember if this has the curved back or the pointy back. Because I think I'm trying to remember which one is the actual canon correct way. I think pointy back is the correct way, and curved back is like the American footage goof up, but I don't care. I don't care too much.
The coins on the belt are really well done, it seems.
Well, let's take a quick look at that. Let's take a gander.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because I was looking, and I wish I had the other camera where I could actually focus well. So no, you can't see it, but it is. You can clearly see that this is a Triceratops, and you can very clearly see that this is a saber-toothed tiger on hers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not gonna focus, and my other camera is.
Are these ever going to be in stores? Are these or is this just a Hasbro Pulse item?
No, I think these are going to be on shelves. I don't think these are exclusives.
I mean, I can't say that I'll never buy one, but
this thing, we should have talked about this. This is the NFT Megazord, and they were just
God.
they were just like, all right, anyone who didn't buy the NFT, you could just buy the Megazord now. Suckers. I was kind of tempted because I love this. I love the black and gold color scheme, but I don't need another Megazord in my life.
I was gonna say it does look cool, but I don't see this. I'm having this problem. I keep putting things on pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store, and then like 2 weeks later being like, why? Why did you like? You know what I did is I had the Michael Keaton Batman from the Flash movie. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wait a second. Because I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I'm going to get this. And then I'm going to paint his belt yellow. And I was like, fucking make the toy I already have. I have a beautiful NECA made 89 Batman figure. Why do I need this figure? Goodbye. I'm not going to buy it. You would think that they could get some paint on those little guys.
Yeah. I was just thinking it would have been nice if they'd actually painted them the correct colors.
If they can get that power coin, they could probably paint these little guys.
At least these guys are consistent, with the internal colors. In the normal release, these are just a solid color. I don't even think they put like the white on them. Anywho, that's going to do it for us today, I believe.
Wait. I got one more quick thing. You can't bump my stuff. You bump my stuff all the time.
No, that was the last topic I had.
You forgot about this guy.
Oh, yeah, I did. You're right. Let me add him to the list. Sorry.
Quick, everybody. It's He-Skeletor.
Such a clever name.
A very goofy toy that I'm not sad that I own. This is from the comic books. There's a Masters of the Universe like multiverse comic book, but I personally feel like they did us dirty, because the idea here is that in this universe, Prince Keldor is a good guy, and he gets the sword and holds it aloft and becomes He-Man. Which what this would imply is that Prince Adam just happens to look a lot like He-Man.
Yeah, it's everybody who turns into He-Man looks like Prince Adam is essentially the thing. Yeah.
What I really dislike about this though is he is called He-Skeletor.
Right.
Like that is his name. It's printed on the package. He-Skeletor.
Right.
Not He-Keldor. I could have maybe given them He-Keldor, especially if they gave him like a little mustache. But it's just silly. But I figured out a way to fix it. Okay. So first of all,
it's going to involve removing the head, putting on a proper Skeletor head. Sorry to spoiler alert.
Spoil all the alerts you like, because here he is. Now that's He-Skeletor.
Yes, I agree.
I like this figure with the modifications that I've given it. He also came with the shield and the axe, so it was the full He-Man package. The cape is from Cape Master. Look them up on Facebook; they're very nice. And this I think was from Terraclaw Skeletor, because he came with 2 heads. Which is a bonus for me now, because I will gladly display this figure sans this head. I might even go I got to dig through my box. I've got an extra Keldor head, because I bought 2 of those packs when they went on sale. And I think that would also look cool, like with just the standard long-haired Keldor head with, skin on his face and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the name He-Skeletor really should imply this,
Yeah. And like when Prince Adam holds aloft his magic sword, he doesn't become He-Adam.
Right. No, this was a lot of people in the community felt pretty poorly about this, is that, it's just a cash grab. It's obviously just He-Man in, different colors. But like I said, as this, I'm comfortable with this. This is what I always assumed would have happened if Skeletor got a hold of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
He would just gain the armor and such that Adam gets.
Yep.
Why not? Yep. This is what I assumed. So that's it. I just wanted to get that out there. I enjoy that figure. So now that I fixed it.
So
now we're done.
Now we're done?
Now we're done. We're done.
Thank you. This is the end. We're not friends anymore. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to have another session this time next Friday, where we will probably be playing Elder Scrolls Online, I think, over on our Twitch. So you can catch us there. Otherwise, catch us back here in 2 weeks for more of this nonsense.
More of this. I love it.
Have a good week, everybody. We'll talk to you later.